today onwards we are going to start governance module. See, before any module, how I actually start, as you know, first I will be discussing the syllabus. First we have to discuss the syllabus. What is syllabus? What UPSC want from us? How significant it is in the administration. So the syllabus is very important. So today in the class of governance, we will be discussing the basics of governance as well as syllabus of governance and how the 2021 paper was been there. Why? Because that is the paper which we have to attempt in our mains. So what are the questions, what should be the model answer, what are all the points you have to cover, these all things I will be discussing in this particular session. I will give you one clarity. Indian polity is different and Indian governance is different. Indian polity is prelims point of view. Polity is prelims point of view. Polity is statistics, static. This is what, this is what, this is the constitution of India, this is the president, this is the union government, this is the state government, this is the local bodies of PRIs and urban local bodies, this is schedule 5, this is schedule 6. Fact. Indian polity is fact. Whereas Indian governance is not fact. Indian governance is dynamic. Means when we apply the polity in the administration, how we should apply the constitution in administration, how we can develop the welfare of the people, how we can address the development of the people, how we can address inclusion, how we can increase financial inclusion, social inclusion, political inclusion. So through government mechanism, through governance mechanism is governance, which we will be discussing in our mains. Mains questions also we will be discussing 2021, we will come to that conclusion only. Yes, it's all about applications of Indian polity in administration. Application of Indian polity in administrative structure is called as governance. By reading Lakshmikant, if you think your polity and governance is completed, you are 100% wrong. I read the Lakshmikant book as it became the standard. My governance completed, my polity completed, my GS2 completed means you are 100% in a false trap. It's a trap, big trap. We will discuss out of 20 questions, 4 questions are from international relations. 4 questions are from social justice. GS2 consists of 4 modules. One is Indian polity, other is Indian governance, other is social justice, and the 4th is international relations. And we will be emphasizing more on international relations also. 4 questions came in international relations. See, we have to be very calculative. We have to be very calculative, we have to be very selfish. Just like that we should not go. We have to calculate how much time I am spending, because of spending of my time, how much benefit I am getting. How many marks? It should be written in the form of marks. Time is everything, time is money, time is wealth. 4 questions are from international relations, 4 questions are from social justice. Social justice, no educational institution in India properly focus upon social justice. Social justice is also important. 4 questions from international relations, 4 questions from social justice, and you don't believe, out of 12, only 2 are from Indian polity and 10 are from governance. 50% of the question paper is governance. Why? Because applications. How we are, self-help group question is there, NGO question is there, parliamentary accountability is there, civil society organizations is there, 2021 question paper, this all comes under governance. First we have to understand the significance of the subject, then we have to go into it. So we understood that in GS2 paper, the highest importance is governance. The second importance is social justice. The third importance is Indian polity. The fourth importance is international relations. But however, international relations is important. Why? Because in interview we will be getting the questions. In UPSC interview the questions will be there. In mains, in UPSC mains also we will get 4, maximum 4 or maximum 5. If you see the trend. But interview, subject wise, knowledge wise it is important, so we have to cover international relations as well. But when you see from the marks point of view, when we calculate from marks point of view how much time I am keeping and how much benefit I am going to get, when we do SWOT analysis, or cost benefit analysis, governance is very important in GS2. Governance is most important in GS2. So what is UPSC gave the syllabus with respect to governance? Indian Constitution, polity this. I am talking about GS2. First is Indian polity only. Indian Constitution. So we are understanding about the Indian Constitution. Historical underpinnings, 1773, which starts from 1813, 1773, 1784, 1813, 1833, 1853, 1857, 1909, 1919, 1935. That is called as historical underpinnings. Pitt's India Act, Councils Act, Government of India Act, historical underpinnings. Finally, we reached 1947 Independence Act, 1950 Constitution. Evolution, features, amendments, significant provisions and basic structure of the Constitution, Indian Constitution. So, here we are understanding about the evolution of Constitution. So, historical underpinnings means most important aspects with respect to the Constitution. What are the history? In history, what are all the important aspects with respect to building of the Constitution? As I told you, 1773 is important, 1784 is important, 1813 is important, 1833 is important. Same way, 1947 Independence India Act, finally Constitution of India. So, what is the composition of Constitution? What is the structure of Constitution? What is the amendments of the Constitution? What are the significant provisions of the Constitution? Constitutional morality is the first question asked. Simple, I will tell you, we will be discussing about it. So, the first is from Constitution, but constitutional morality is a term of governance. Constitution word is of Indian polity and the constitutional morality is a part of governance. Number 2, governance starts. Functions and responsibility of the union and the states, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, center-state relations, interstate relations. What are the functions and responsibility of the center? What are the functions and responsibility of the state? Interstate relations, center-state relations, federal system. Any elections you see in India, the federal system will be questioned. Mamata Banerjee, when we are talking about, she questions federal system got impacted. Current affair, what is a current affair? Border security force between India and Bangladesh. Now the ambit of border security force has been increased inside the West Bengal up to 18 kilometers. Means nearly 10% of the geographical area came under the ambit of border security force. Mamata Banerjee told, why 10% you take total? Narendra Modi, you control everything by border security force. Why police? There is no requirement of state police. So these are the issues which are contentious issues between center and states. It's a governance module. It's a part of governance. Center-state relations, federal system. Sir, it is also present in Lakshmikant sir. It is fact. Which article talks about union powers? Which article talks about state functions? Which article talks about federal features? Which article talks about center-state relations, financial, administrative, legislative, executive? Yes, sir. Center-state relations are executive, financial, judiciary, administrative and executive, not judiciary. Federal system means governance. Compulsory one question will be there in federal system. When there is a question on federal system means compulsory we have to do 2 commissions. Compulsory we have to go through 2 commission recommendations. One is called as Sarkaria Commission recommendation, second is Punch Commission recommendation. Center-state relations. Without adding Sarkaria Commission recommendations, without adding Punch Commission recommendation, your center-state relations or federal system question is incomplete, fixed in your mind. You have to make a formula. You have to make a formula that any question on center-state relations, I am going to add Punch Commission recommendation or else Sarkaria Commission recommendation. Devaluation of powers and finances up to local levels and challenges, Finance Commission. Indirectly the question is about Finance Commission. Why? Because the Finance Commission is having the duty. The Finance Commission under Article 280 of the Constitution is having the duty of financial devaluation. Vertical devaluation. 32% was 13th Finance Commission. 14th Finance Commission increased from 32% to 42%. Financial devaluation means the taxes which are collected at the center, for example 100%, from 100% of the taxes collected by the center, 42% is given to states. Finance is important. Devaluation of funds is important. What is the criteria? Why Finance Commission came with that decision? 15th Finance Commission now running 2021 to 2026. What is the formula for 15th Finance Commission? Not chairman. Who are the members? What is the composition of Finance Commission? Which article comes under Finance Commission? Not at all required. It's a question which is there in 2021 mains. So directly the questions are from syllabus only. Expected, mains, when you have a proper guide, you can, if you prepare for 40 topics, out of 20 questions, if you prepare 40 topics, 18 topics will be directly. I am talking about 18 topics, not questions. Finance Commission. Third, separation of powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanisms and institutions. Separation of powers, every time evergreen topic. Executive, legislative, judiciary. Separation of powers. The judiciary is entering into the ambit of legislature, the judiciary is entering into the ambit of executive. Hence, judicial review is constitutional. Then what about judicial overreach? Then what about judicial activism? The question is about judicial activism. The topic is about judicial activism and judicial overreach. Judiciary is telling the trucks should not enter into the Delhi. The trucks should not enter into the Delhi. The trucks should stay outside the Delhi. From there, the autos or the trolleys should go and lift the transport material and they have to come into the city. Who are you, judiciary? It's a duty of executive, or it is a duty of central pollution control body. Who are you? Means judiciary is entering into the ambit of executive. Don't go for crackers. There is central pollution control body is there. Why you are giving dictatums? So there is blurring of separation of powers. Judiciary is entering into the ambit of executive, the executive is entering into the ambit of legislature, whether good or bad, whether it's constitutionally valid or constitutionally invalid. That is the topic about. Comparison of Indian constitution scheme with that of other countries. 2021 question. Compare the equality of Indian constitution with US. It's a previous year, it's a question, 2021 question. Direct from the syllabus. Comparison of Indian constitution scheme with that of other countries. Whether it is there in Lakshmikant book, it is Indian polity wala. Whether it is there in Lakshmikant, nowhere you can see in Lakshmikant. Whether Lakshmikant, Indian constitution is compared with any other country? No. Just some parliamentary form of democracy is like British. Procedure established by the law is from UK, USA. Some points are there. Properly, fully, we didn't compare it with USA or we didn't compare it with UK, we didn't compare it with France. The question is from comparison of Indian constitution with USA. First, we have to read the syllabus. UPSC syllabus it is in the UPSC website, not in the Lakshmikant book. UPSC syllabus is different and the Lakshmikant book is different. So here I am not for criticizing Lakshmikant book, I want to tell that you have to go through the syllabus first, mainly for mains. Yes, for prelims, everything under the sky is subjected to question, that I know. But for mains, they strictly follow the syllabus. Parliament and state legislature structure, functioning, conduct of business, powers and privileges and issues arising out of this. Yes, issues arising out of this. State legislature, central legislature. Member of legislative council is another question which is asked in 2021. Whether member of legislative council really required? Whether member of, we are not talking about which article is responsible for the formation of legislative council. What is the composition of legislative councils? The question asked is whether it is useful to have a legislative council, whether it is not overburden on the finance of the state. Structure, organization, functioning of the executive and the judiciary, ministries and departments of the government, pressure groups and formal and informal associations and the role in the polity. Direct question came from pressure groups. Direct question came from pressure groups. Direct question. We don't know the exact difference between what is pressure group, what is NGO, what is civil society organization, What is voluntary organization? Lot of difference is there. We think that NGO, civil society organization, voluntary organizations are one and the same. NGOs is different, voluntary organizations is different, civil society organizations is different, pressure groups are different. FICCI, CAI, ASOCHAM, these are the pressure groups of business. These are the pressure groups of business. What is their role? Their main role is lobbying. Their main role is lobbying. What is lobbying? So from lobbying we have to go into the pressure group. Why it is important? In 2013 there is a woman called as Neera Radia, who is a lobbyist, who pressurized the central government, mainly the Ministry of Telecommunication, A. Raja, to change the policy of spectrum allocation. Because of which Comptroller Auditor General of India had gave a report that the country, the Indian exchequer, has lost 1.76 lakhs crores of money. 1.76 lakhs means 1,76,000 crores of money we lost, income we lost, because of one of the lobbyists called as Neera Radia. Who are these lobbyists? Who are these pressure groups? What are the role of pressure groups? What they can do? Is it not the farmers bill which got repealed? Is it not because of that a pressure group, a farmer pressure group? Is it not that pressure group, farmer pressure group? Rashtriya Kisan Mazdoor Sangh is one of the pressure group. They threatened the government, if you are going to continue it, we will look into Punjab elections and Uttar Pradesh elections. Government withdrawn it. Pressure group. Huge role will have pressure groups in democracy. What are these pressure groups? Yes. Salient features of Representation of People's Act. Every year one question, 100%. Representation of People's Act. Why? Because elections are happening according to the Representation of People's Act. Whatever the elections are conducted in the country is according to the provisions present in Representation of People's Act. What is Representation of People's Act 1951? It got amended multiple times. What are the amendments to the Representation of People's Act? And the Supreme Court judgments also came with respect to Representation of People's Act. For example, none of the above. None of the above. Nota. None of the above is one of the judgment because of which a new icon came in the EVMs. Salient provisions, salient features of the Representation of People's Act. In this only we should do election reforms also. In this only we have to cover election reforms as well. Appointments to various constitutional posts, powers, functions and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies, as well as statutory, regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies together. Constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, non-statutory bodies, quasi-judicial bodies. I explained properly. What is statutory bodies? What is quasi-judicial bodies? What is non-constitutional bodies, means executive bodies? 2021 Mains National Human Rights Commission question came. 2021 Mains NHRC question came. It is a statutory body, statutory quasi-judicial body it is. It's a statutory quasi-judicial body. Government policies and interventions for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation development processes and the development industry, the role of NGOs, self-help groups question came. What is this self-help groups? Welfare schemes for vulnerable sections. This is social justice. This is social justice. Vulnerable sections, SC, ST, OBC, LGBTs, these all are vulnerable sections. The questions are direct. Issues relating to development and management of social sector service related to health, education, human resources. Issues related to poverty and hunger. Important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, governance applications, citizen charters. Role of civil services in democracy, here we should also discuss about democracy versus bureaucracy and international relations. See, out of 20 units present, 4 units are international relations, 16 units are governance and Indian polity, and the governance is playing major role. What happens, generally क्या होता है कि people will misunderstand that I completed polity means I completed governance. If you complete governance, you no need to read polity like that it should be for mains. Polity, for prelims, exclusive polity you have to emphasize. For mains, you have to emphasize governance. Not that much easy. Why? Because if you don't practice or daily answer writing on governance questions, why? Because the questions will be of 4 lines or 5 lines. In one question, 2-3 question marks will be there. What are self-help groups? How self-help groups are helpful for common man in social development and social inclusion? Question mark. Take any example and substantiate the social inclusion happened by self-help group? Question mark. 3 questions are there within one question. So when you read these 3 questions within one question, it takes 1 minute. Understanding and writing draft will take another 1 minute, and you start writing. The question which need to be completed in 8 minutes, it will go up to 11-12 minutes. When it goes up to 11-12 minutes, finally at 179th minute, 180th minute, 2-3 questions you will leave. Most often, GS1, everyone will attempt all the questions and will come. This is general trend, not my trend. Generally, GS1, all questions will be answered. Why? Because they focus more on prelims, and prelim syllabus is present in mains also for GS1, if you notice. Except world history, everything will be present. Post-independence is also covered in prelims. Only world history extra is there. So what will happen, as they read more in prelims, it will be easy in mains also, but students will not focus much on governance. They will not focus much on social justice. So writing practice will not happen. Eventually, because of absence of writing practice, 2-3 questions they will leave. First timer who are writing the mains. Second timer, third timers, they understood that they will understand the importance of governance, and in the second and third attempt they focus on governance. With my experience, I am telling you that governance is important, not just like that. A second timer who is writing the mains, a third timer who is writing mains, fourth timer, he will focus only on governance only. So governance should not be neglected, never. So you understood first, whatever we do, I believe that why is important. I strongly believe that for whatever we do, we should have why. Morning if you do brush also, you should know why you are doing brush. It's a ritual, every day morning I am doing, so today also I will do. No. For everything we need to know why, and why governance. 50% of the question paper will be damn sure from governance only. So never neglect governance. If you clear prelims and if you are not in a position to read or know about the governance, then you are in danger with respect to mains. So this is the right time. Complete your governance by February 28th. You take your own time, read slowly according to your schedule, according to your timetable, but complete governance. When you complete governance, it will be helpful in your prelims as well, more in mains. Sir, you told about syllabus, fine, very good. आपने बोल दिया ये सब गवर्नेंस सिलेबस में है, very good, well and good, fair good. Can you tell me what type of questions were been there? Today I will be discussing 2021. Eventually in the syllabus also, when I am going, I will be discussing previous questions for every unit. 2017, 2018, 2019, for every unit I will be discussing previous questions also. But today we will do 2021 exclusively. Very first question. The very first question is a bouncer. The very first question itself bouncer, and UPSC intentionally gave this. The meaning is simple, but students will be confused by seeing the word called as constitutional morality. I know morality which I studied in ethics, that to no clarity. But here there is morality constitutional. This is very simple. Constitutional morality is simple. See, morality means when we are going to decide between wrong and right, what we are choosing is called as morality. On individual level is called as morality. On individual level, according to your ethics, blindly you remember. At individual level, if you are thinking this is right and this is wrong, is called as morality. For example, in Talibani society, beating a woman is a morality. In Indian society, beating a woman is wrong. So there it is morality, here it is not morality. At individual level, there it is accepted, at individual level, it is not accepted here. So individual level, what is right and what is wrong is called as morality. Value means, for society there will be values. Patriarchal system in India is a value, and egalitarian society in tribal society is a value. Value based understanding at societal level, whether right or wrong, is called as value. So what you understood? Value means society level, morality means individual level. Then what is constitutional morality? What is present in the constitution? What is present in the constitution? Whether we are implementing at individual and collective level or not. That's it. Constitutional morality means what are all the things which are present in the constitution, whether we are implementing at individual and collective level in letter and spirit. For example, in preamble you have sovereignty, in preamble you have democracy, in preamble you have republican, in preamble you have fraternity, in preamble you have justice, social, political, economic justice. So whether these all are implemented at the individual level, whether these all are implemented at the collective level or not, the question is about this. Collective level, whether the governments are implementing fundamental rights or not, whether the government is implementing directive principles of state policy or not, collective level. Again, individual level, every individual is having fundamental duty, whether everyone is doing his duty or not, individual level. That is constitutional morality. Now I will tell you, without reading this, sir, some terms without reading how to decode. Without reading this, without knowing this, without listening to the term, how we can decode it? For example, I will tell you. Morality, you should have knowledge. What is morality? Why? Because it's very, very basic in ethics. Morality means deciding what is correct, what is wrong at the individual level. Constitution, so it is also what we have to implement, what we should not implement it. We know that constitution is everything is right, so we have to implement constitution. So constitution we have to implement at the individual level for me, and as a part of society I should also look into that society also implement the constitution. Now you see the question. Constitutional morality is rooted in the constitution itself and is founded on its essential facets: preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, fundamental duties. The constitutional morality is present in the constitution itself. Just you have to implement it. Explain the doctrine of constitutional morality with the help of relevant judicial judgments. 10 marker. You should not waste time also. Within 2 pages you have to write. First, you will mention what is constitutional morality, pinpoint it. Adherence to the norms of the constitution in democracy, commitment to an inclusive and democratic political system in which both individual and collective interests of the society are satisfied. At individual level and collective level, they have to work for the constitutional principles for the satisfaction of individual and collective, for my satisfaction as well as my collective satisfaction. Like sovereignty, social justice, equality. Social justice is present in the constitution. If I work for social justice, for whom I am giving social justice, whether he will be satisfied or not? He will be satisfied. Some point of time I also want social justice. So in the same way it will be returning back, I will also be satisfied. So, what is present in the constitution is satisfied at the individual level or collective level. It is implemented at the individual level and collective level or not is called as, that is a meaning. But without knowing the meaning, constitution is important. So, constitution is present. So, it should be implemented. Why? Because the constitutional principles are for individual satisfaction, for collective satisfaction. Like, what are those? What is present in the preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, fundamental duties, checks and balances. Judgments. Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India. Section 377 violates the right of members of LGBT community. Under article what? Under article what? Section 377. Right to life and liberty. Article 21 is saying that right to have their sexual partner or right to have their own sexual orientation. Right to have their own sexual orientation. So, earlier when my sexual orientation is different, it was criminal offense. This is individual level, my life, my liberty. Why you are entering into my liberty? Hence the Supreme Court declared it as unconstitutional. To safeguard what? Constitutional morality. To safeguard what? Constitutional morality. Nas foundation is also same. K.S. Puttaswamy, right to privacy. Right to privacy is, as an individual, as a part of democratic country, I have right to have my own privacy. Why the government is entering into my privacy? Aadhaar card bill. Why you want compulsory Aadhaar card? I don't want to give. Yesterday, who is that player, tennis player, Australia, he didn't got vaccinated. Right to life and liberty, I don't want to get vaccinated. That example was being taken by our Supreme Court. So, it's not compulsion to have vaccination, it's the individual choice. Why? Because it's my liberty, it's my life, it's my body. You can also quote yesterday's example. Yes, right to life and liberty also for constitutional power. Indian Young Lawyers Associations versus State of Kerala. Secularism you are talking about. 25, 26, 27, 28. Right to equality is also there, Article 14. But why you are not allowing women to enter into the Shabarimala? So, in order to ensure the rights of women, the woman was being allowed to enter into the Shabarimala temple under the case called as Indian Young Lawyers Association versus. See, what I want to tell you, I am not explaining you the answer for this question. I am explaining you how to link it. So, this is one judgment which is Shabarimala. The constitutional morality is right of individuals. Constitutional morality is rights of individuals need to be protected. Here, rights of women is protected. Right to privacy is also a constitutional morality. So, right to privacy is there. Section 377, my sexual orientation, it is also my right. It is who told this? Constitutional morality told. So, through Supreme Court judgments, we have to be in a position to answer the target. What is the target? Constitutional morality. It can be constitutional morality. It can be separation of powers. It can be checks and balances. It can be anything. It can be rights issues by constitutional judgments. Discuss the desirability of greater representation to women in higher judiciary to ensure diversity, equity and inclusiveness. After N.V. Ramana, the Honorable CGA, when he became the CG of India, immediately he did lot of reforms. Huge recruitment happened. Huge appointments happened. He not only discussed at the level of higher level, he also discussed at the level of toilets at the district courts. Why? Because he is a person who came from grassroots level. He was discussing about the presence of women toilets in. Why the dropouts rate is high in secondary schools? Why the female dropout rates is very high? Female dropout rate is 65% and boys rate dropout rate is 45%. Why girls dropout rate is 65%? Only because of absence of toilets. The parents are worried about the safety of the girl, so they are not sending the girl to the secondary school. Why? Because she will be in a matured stage and she don't want to be in open place. Hence, toilet is inevitable. But toilets are not there in government schools, mainly in secondary schools. So dropout rates are high. If that is the case, in N.V. Ramana told that in district courts itself there is absence of separate toilets for. That is also one demotivating factor. This is one point you have to add. Discuss dereliability. CGI has called for 50% representation of women in the judiciary. I will give this PDF, don't worry, first understand the structure. Facts. What CGI told? 50% should be represented in by women. 50%. But I will tell you one fact. While I am making the model answer also, while I am preparing myself also, I felt very sad. For example, see, of the 256 Supreme Court judges appointed, 71 years happened, only 11 have been women. Out of 256 Supreme Court judges up to now who are been working in 71 years of independent India, only 11 judges are less than 1%, less than 0.5%. That is the level of representation of women. Sir, why we want representation of women? Desirability of greater representation to women in the higher judiciary. Why, sir? They will be having more sensitivity towards the women issues. They will be more concerned for sexual violence. They will be more for the gender neutrality. They will be more sensitive towards the gender issues. So there is a requirement of women gender. It will ensure diversity of perspectives is fairly considered, more balanced and empathetic approach in cases involving sexual violence. It will instill greater public trust in the judiciary. For example, when a rape case happens, the questions this is a practical Indian Penal Code, a procedure. When a rape case happened, the questions which are asked to the victim is very much derogatory and primitive in nature. And you know who will ask this question? A male inspector will be asking this question. And the Supreme Court intervened in between. In one of the judgments, Supreme Court told that when a rape case happens, the inquiry need to be done with respect to the physical nature of the woman by a woman officer, but not by a male officer. In 2011, means till 2011, who were been inquiring regarding to the sexual assault? Male officer was. Then how she can come out openly? So there is a requirement of gender equality not only in police department but also in judiciary. Improvement in women representation in the judiciary remain intrinsic to constitutional ideals of greater equality. Women's greater participation in higher judiciary will provide impetus to fighting gender stereotypes. Suggestions. First thing what you have to do, N.V. Ramana gave the judgment. First, lack of infrastructure in courts. What type of infrastructure, sir? Toilets. Lack of infrastructure in courts, gender stereotypes, societal attitudes that have created hurdles for women to enter the legal provision. A survey noted that of nearly 6,000 trial courts, 22% have no toilets for women. This needs to be changed. So infrastructure level need to be changed. When infrastructure level is being changed, there will be a impetus. So not only at the level of judges, at the level of advocates also. The people who are pursuing the legal profession also very less. When they pursue legal profession only, then they can become High Court judge or Supreme Court judge. So it should be at the level of entrance. It should be at the level of beginning also. That is what. How have the recommendations of 14th Finance Commission of India enabled the states to improve their fiscal position? Last class we discussed. 32% to 42%. Vertical devaluation. How we have to write the answer? Such type of questions, some facts are important. It will add value to your answer. Under Article 180, under Article 280 of the Constitution, there will be a Finance Commission which is a constitutional independent body which will be recommending to the central government with respect to devaluation of funds from the center to states. And also it gives the formula and criteria for the distribution of funds between the states. Full stop. Then you will come to second paragraph. 14th Finance Commission is headed by whom? NK Singh is 15th Commission. 14th Commission is headed by whom? 14th Finance Commission head, 14th Finance Commission head, Y.V. Reddy. This person recommended that 32% which was been there in 13th Finance Commission, it will go to 42%. So what will happen now? State will have their own free hand. They are very near to the people, whether central government is very near to the people or state government is very near to the people. State government is very near to the people. When you give free hand to the state government, they can make their own policies, they can make their own development. Why? Because they are very near to them. So hence, increased devaluation to states from divisible pool from 32% to 42%. State would receive a larger volume of united funds related to tied funds. Center to reduce conditional grants in aid to states. What happened, Another point, 14th Finance Commission told that some conditions were being fixed, like I will give you fund if you collect this much of tax. I will give you fund if your literacy rate is this much. If your IMR is this much, that is good only. But the target should be practical. The target should be practical. But the central government gave the targets impractical. So reaching the target is very task, and when they didn't reach it, the central government is telling that you didn't reach the target, so you didn't reach the condition, I am unable to provide you the funds. So 14th Finance Commission told that center reduce conditions for grants in aid. Don't keep too much conditions. Okay, conditions are good, but don't keep too much of conditions. So now these all are examples of cooperative federalism. These are all examples of cooperative federalism, mainly Niti Aayog establishment. The working of Finance Commission is ensuring what? Cooperative federalism, bargaining federalism, competitive federalism. These are all points you have to write. To what extent, in your view, the Parliament is able to ensure accountability of the executive in India? Direct polity question. Direct Indian polity question. To what extent, in your view, the Parliament is able to ensure accountability of the executive in India? Remember this. You can directly pinpoint that where we can make more better. But first you have to write. Accountability is the main feature for a democratic system, and the Parliament is acting like an accountability mechanism for the executive. What are those? You have to list it. Question hour, debates, short duration discussion, long duration discussion, no confidence motion, departmental standing committees. Yes or no? These all are parliamentary accountability mechanisms on polity, on executive. So you will write one by one. But the question is about what? To what extent, in your view, the Parliament is able to ensure accountability? It means evaluation, whether it is working properly or not. So first you will mention mechanisms of parliamentary control. Question hour, 0 hour, half an hour discussion, short duration discussion, calling attention motion, adjournment motion, no confidence motion, general discussion, voting, budgetary control. This all you will mention. But the question is, Parliament unable to ensure accountability of the executive because of what? Because of what? Parliament is unable to ensure accountability because of what? With examples you have to tell me. For example, I will tell you. If I declare any money bill, if I declare this, all everyone will tell what? Parliamentary sessions are not happening properly. Only this many hours they are sitting. There is lot of arguments and fightings are happening in Parliament. This everyone will write. What government will do? What happened? When Aadhaar bill was being tabled in the Parliament, the present government doesn't have majority in Rajya Sabha. They have majority in Lok Sabha, but they doesn't have the majority in Rajya Sabha. So passing of this Aadhaar bill was a very difficult task, tough task. What they want means, in this Aadhaar bill is mandatory for all the government schemes. That is what the Aadhaar bill. If you want any benefit from the government, if you want any benefit from the government schemes, Aadhaar bill is mandatory. That is what the Aadhaar bill is. Lok Sabha, they have nearly 350. NDA have nearly 350. They want only 275. 350 is their NDA, not BJP, NDA. In India, BJP is. Then what it did? It told Speaker is the ruling party member. Speaker did, Aadhaar bill is not ordinary bill, Aadhaar bill is money bill. Now you tell me, any bill is designated by, any bill which is designated by money bill, what is the role in Rajya Sabha? Only recommendatory, and the recommendatory is also not binding on Lok Sabha. So now Aadhaar card bill will pass or not, Aadhaar bill will pass or not, easily it will pass. So in this way they are escaping the scrutiny. Parliamentary session is not happening, meetings are not happening, they are fighting, apart from this is a technical flaw. So the bill which will not pass in the Rajya Sabha, they are declaring it as money bill by the Speaker. So whether it will not create a negative precedent, whether the next government which is coming out, whether they will not repeat it. Why? Because it's an example now. Tendency to evade route of debates, discussion, checks through instruments, money bill route, Aadhaar bill, use of voice vote mechanism, farm bill. Usually the voting should happen according to the number by buzz button. Telangana bill also voice vote 2014. Who was positive, who was negative. Telangana bill was worst. They closed the doors, they cut the electricity, no CC camera was been working, and they opened the doors and told that bill is been passed. Farm bill, voice vote. Why? You can have the buzzer, you can see the number there. When we can see the number, we can clearly understand that how many are pro and how many are against it. Frequent ordinances, big thing. Frequent ordinances under article what? 123. 123, no? Article 123 ordinance in Parliament, 213 under state legislature. Lesser bills referred to parliamentary committees. Low productivity of question hour. Here you can write examples. You don't believe in 2004, for asking questions in the parliament, the parliamentarians were been asking money. For one question, 50,000 rupees. It was been came out through Tehelka scam. Tehelka, they recorded everything, and because of which the government, the MPs were been suspended by the speaker. They were been asking money to ask the questions in question hour. During the pandemic, they got a very good opportunity now. A complete session, winter session was been missed. Absenteeism, you can write example. When Sachin Tendulkar was been asked about why you are absenting, it's my voluntary thing. Why I should not, why I should present, why you are making me compulsory to come for Rajya Sabha. A Rajya Sabha member is telling, because why you are absent, the reasoning which is put forward is not correct. Absenteeism is very high. So for everything you have to write an example, bracket, this is example, this is example, this is example, this is example. You know, lesser bills refer to parliamentary committee. Now in the present parliament, now present government which is running, earlier 60% of the bills used to go for parliamentary committees. Now 16% of the bills are going for parliamentary committees. Why parliamentary committees are important? Parliamentary committees are important. Why? Because scrutiny is important. No? If I do some work, if you scrutinize, how many members scrutinize, that is good. More best product will come out. But you are escaping what? Scrutiny. When you are escaping scrutiny means there is no accountability. Like this. To the point with examples. Pressure groups play a vital, now you tell me whether this is polity question, polity plus governance question. Pressure group plays a vital role in influencing public policy making in India. Pressure groups play a major role. I will tell you one example. You know, every year minimum support price which is fixed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. They unilaterally they will not make the decision. They will call upon the NGOs, they will call upon the farmers associations like Rashtriya Kisan Mazdoor Sangh. These pressure groups will come, they will tell for Rabi, for Kharif, for paddy, for wheat, this much we want. So the rates of minimum support price is fixed by the pressure groups only. If it is not fixed, then what they will do? They will go to the media and they will tell that the government is not farmer friendly. Then why to get that bad name? They will tell that, okay, whatever you tell, I will fix the rate. Pressure groups. Now in Andhra Pradesh, PRC, associations are coming up for increase in salary, pressure group. There is a pressure on the government, so government will bend and increase the salaries. Genetically modified organism crops. Live Peacefully. Live Peace is one NGO who is actively pursuing that genetically modified organism crops should not be implemented in India. The government, because of this NGO, because of this pressure group, they are not accepting genetically modified organism crops. In spite of the pressure from MNCs like Monsanto, like Mohaico, RTA is because of pressure group, right to information. National Rural Employment Guarantee Act is because of pressure groups. National Food Security Act 2013 is because of pressure group. The pressure groups will play a major role. When we are making any industrial policy, when we are making any economical policy, when we are making any financial policy, ASSOCHAM, CII, FICCI, these are the pressure groups. They are not NGOs, they are the pressure groups of the industry. Now the prices has been increased in Andhra Pradesh. Theatre prices, pressure groups, they are putting pressure on the government. Ram Gopal or big pressure. These are pressure groups. A pressure group is a group of people who are organized actively for promoting and defending their common interest. First, so how I am writing an answer? First definition, you have to tell me what is pressure group first. And you are telling, first tell me what is pressure group. Pressure group is this. They influence the policy making and policy implementation. Caste groups are pressure groups or not? Dalit associations, pressure group or not? Yes. Upper caste association, pressure group or not? Yes. In the government, through legal and legitimate methods like lobbying, correspondence, publicity, propagandizing, it acts as a license between the government and its members. Between the members and its government, pressure groups. Role and importance of pressure group. They represent, they are the representations, the source of information and the advice to the government. They help in policy implementation like SEVA. They promote education, vital role in the legislative process. The different types of pressure groups found in India are business group, education group, school groups, teachers groups. These all are pressure groups. Role of business association, for example, why? Because the question is, see, explain how the business association contribute to public policies. ASSOCHAM, CII, FICCI, these are the business associations. How they are contributing to the business policies. How? Best way. It will influence. Nirmala Sitharaman while making the budget. Madam, you have to, this much you have to allocate, you have to reduce the GST tax, so the business will grow, ease of doing business will increase, so investments will come. In this way, the business associations will be working for the business policies. So that means the question is about, take one example and substantiate it. Take one example and substantiate it. I will take this example. Neera Radia is one of a business lobbyist of Tata Groups. She had influenced the policy of 2G spectrum allocation in 2013. Up to 2013, spectrum will be there, no? Megahertz, microhertz, this infrared, that will be auctioned. According to the auction only, the bandwidth will be given to the telecom companies like Airtel, like at the time Tata Docomo. So what she did, she influenced the policy of 2G spectrum allocation. How? By some kickbacks, by some corruption, by some other way. She influenced. Then what happened? Up to then, the 2G spectrum allocation was been happening based upon the auction, but from 2013, it was by first come, first serve. For example, these 5 fingers are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the product. These are the 5 people, 5 companies, this is the product. This product is for sale. So what will happen? This will 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees. So 40 rupees final. So this 40 rupees will come now. Like that, auction is happening. So the government is getting revenue. But what the 2G spectrum thing is, the telecommunication minister changed the policy and told that no auction, first come, first serve. So tomorrow early morning, 8 o'clock, the gates will be opened. Whoever come and stand in the line, for them, the policy will be given. For them, the allocation will be given. Why? What they mentioned means mobile penetration. What they mentioned means internet penetration. So when we give on free basis, first come, first serve, so more mobile penetration will happen, more internet penetration will happen, so people will be having accessibility for mobiles. So the bills will come down. That is the reason once upon a time, validity is 149 rupees was been there. Price for 1 month, unlimited calls, now it became somewhere around 249, 100 rupees increased. So that was a thought process, but however it was been, for government we lost, according to CAG, because of the influence of Neera Radia. So what he will do? Finally he is a minister but a human being. He called Aircel. Do you know Aircel company? In Chennai based it is. At that time, Aircel was a very big company. They called Aircel people, and the Aircel people first came and catch, they were been standing. First come, first serve. So first Aircel people came. They gave Aircel. Then other company, then other company, then other company. So the spectrum allocation which used to generate 1.76 lakh crores of revenue did not generate any revenue other than minimum amount. So that happened when the investigation happened by the CAG revealed that it is because of the pressure groups. It is because of lobbyists. Huge role they will play. Huge role they will play. That is what, like this. Representation. Role of business during pre-budget. Communicate, provide useful and credible information, research. This you do, you reduce the GST, this much income will come, you increase the GST, the income will lose, ease of doing business will happen, people will not put investment. Why? Because the GST rates are high. These advices will be provided by the pressure groups. Are you getting my point? How to get these examples, sir, in newspaper? So, for that what you have to do, I will tell you now itself. Take one book like this. Take one book like this. Put, this book is for GS2. First index, write index first itself. Write constitution, fundamental rights, DPSP, fundamental duties, then governance, then pressure group, self-help groups, everything should be in one book only. Whenever you are coming across newspaper never should be read on date, based upon the date. No. If you make notes based upon the date, you are eligible to write Group 4 exam. You are eligible to write Group 4 exam or bank clerk exam, not UPSC exam. For UPSC exam, you have to write topic wise. For example, pressure group, page number 40. Go to the page number 40. There is pressure group. So whatever you are coming across pressure group content, you write here. 2 pages you leave blank, write here. This is today's information. And you are reading newspaper, another example came, EX, you write that example. So when you are reading finally, according to the topic, you go to that page and read that page. That will be more authentic, more useful, more marks oriented. In that way, you have to make your notes for GS2. Beside being a moral imperative of welfare state, primary health structure is necessary precondition for sustainable development. Yes, sir? What is the basic thing? Primary healthcare center. What is the big problem for primary healthcare sector or health sector in India is 1.3% of GDP is allocated for health sector. But the respective committees and commissions recommended that minimum to minimum 3% of GDP need to be allocated for health sector, and in which the higher focus should be on primary healthcare sector. But in India, the primary healthcare sector is ruined. It is not working functionally. This is all you write. Article 47, as per WHO, what is primary healthcare? Primary healthcare interventions, sustainable development goals also, it talks about health and well-being for all. In order to ensure all this, the first thing is primary healthcare centers. Earn while you learn. This is very interesting question. This is very interesting question. Earn while you learn. Scheme needs to be strengthened to make vocational education and skill training meaningful. Comment. Just by seeing question, can you identify? Just by seeing question, you should be in a position to identify about which sector it is talking. The question is about government schemes. So the direct question is about, it is about earn while you learn. This is a scheme of Ministry of Tourism. This fact also you have to know. Government schemes are very important. Earn while you learn. For this question, you can write appropriate answer if and only if you know that it is about tourism sector. Generally, if you write earn while you learn, join multi-level marketing, join 2 people, you will get 1 check, and another you join 3 people under you. That is not earn while you learn. Tourism sector is talking about. Tourism sector is talking about. You promote tourism. You become a tourist guide on Sundays. You do advertisement about Indian tourism. If you are living in tourist locations, then well and good. So in that way, promotion of tourism sector should happen mainly by the students. That is the intention of Ministry of Tourism. So first point, we have to know that the government scheme, this is talking about Ministry of Tourism. The Ministry of Tourism has launched a scheme titled Earn While Learn. He will see only this point. Why? Because most of them will be writing generally. When he read 3 answers, 4 answers, he understood that everyone did not got the question. But you wrote Ministry of Tourism. He will not read the answer also. He will give correct. The Ministry of Tourism has launched a scheme titled Earn While Learn with a view to inculcate appropriate tourism travel traits and knowledge among trainees to enable them to work as student volunteers for college going students from 18 to 25 years. Mainly promoting student volunteers. Promoting student volunteers to work in tourism sector. Some benefits they will be getting. Strengthening of the scheme to make vocational education and skill. If tourism sector is provided with some skill development, communication skills, English speaking skills, whether they can earn more or not. When they know about how to behave, how to give gestures, how to speak with the foreign tourists, how to speak with domestic tourists. So obviously they can earn money also. You are a student still. That is the intention of this. Can the vicious cycle of gender inequality, poverty and malnutrition be broken through a microfinancing of women self-help groups? Explain with examples. Self-help groups. First you have to write what is self-help groups. These all are present in the syllabus only. Nothing is out of syllabus up to now, not 2021, up to now. So I recommend you, by seeing this question paper, don't read unwanted things like newspaper for 2 hours, no. Read newspaper for only 1 hour. If you are a very, very beginner, then 2 hours. If you are into the UPSC preparation since last 6 months, only 1 hour is enough. Why you know? Not to understand the concept, to know the jargon, to know the sentence formation, how they are writing, that we have to analyze. What type of words they are using, whether I can use the same words in my answer or not. In that way we have to read. First, self-help group. What is self-help group? You will write. All the section of people who come from similar social economical background. Most of the self-help groups will be from one caste group within a village or one street people within a village who are almost agriculture of same economic. Rich people will not be there in self-help groups. They will be of same social background, economical background. And what is self-help group? Is nothing but saving of money. 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 1000 rupees. Who want 1000 rupees? This person want 1000 rupees. Like that, the requirements of the persons, the requirements of the members of the self-help groups are satisfied every month based upon this allocation of funds. So with this 1000 rupees, they can buy anything. For example, 10,000 rupees, they can buy a sewing machine. They can keep a small kirana shop. So it will be helping them for economical development. Second thing, elections happens. First politicians contact whom? Village. If elections happens, politicians first contact the self-help group leader. How many groups are there? 10 groups are there in the village. Who is the leader? Call the leaders. So, political empowerment, economical empowerment, social empowerment, see, they are moving freely in the village. They are knowing everything. So, social empowerment will be happening. Leadership skills will be developed. So, overall development, personality development is happening because of self. It's not just a development, a personality development, a thought process evolution. When the social development, economical development, political development happens, if any gender inequality is there, whether any social evil is there, why they will bear it? Why? Because they are empowered now. Self-help group is helping in empowerment. For example, Kutumbasri program of Kerala. 50% of the Kutumbasri, who are the members, they became the Gram Panchayat or ward members of the villages. A successful self-help group in India is Kutumbasri program of Kerala. I mentioned here. What is self-help group? Role of microfinancing. It helps to overcome the existing constraints grappling the formal credit institutions. But the question is not only about self-help groups, the question is about microfinancing. What is this microfinancing? There are some companies, microfinance companies like SKS. What this company will do? They will give microcredit. Like, so first they will not give randomly. They will come to the village, a branch will be established. So anyone want loan, mainly they will give to the self-help group members. Why? Because the guarantor will be the members of the self-help group. So they will come, they will give what you want. Sir, fees I have to pay for my student, my son, or I have to buy this agriculture motor, or I have to buy this tractor, machinery. Okay, we are going to give you the money. So the immediate requirements of the members of the self-help groups is overcome very quickly because of this microfinance institution. Why? Because in self-help groups the guarantee is given by the other members. Here two benefits. Number one, when I am a part of a group and I took the loan and the guarantors are group members, if I don't pay the money, leave the microfinance company, these people will keep quiet. Neighbors will keep quiet. I gave you guarantor, where are you running? Whether you will pay or not, if you don't pay, before that person, these people will be asking. So, these people will be alert, these people will be paying it. So, in two ways it is helping. The banking structure is also will be growing, as well as their requirement also will be satisfied. That way you have to write an answer. Role of microfinance. Females are in general more restricted than men from taking part in the formal economy. A study has been conducted to map out the impacts and working of self-help groups for representation of self-help members in local politics. Among the group members elected to the panchayat, about 48% had been self-help group members. Microfinancing of women is linked to better nutritional outcomes for the whole family. It is important in breaking intergenerational poverty. Self-employed women association works towards nutrition security among women. Microfinance, she is pregnant, she is unable to get quality food, she is taking microfinance for immediate requirements. Microfinancing of women self-help groups help break the barriers of social conventions, gender ideology with enhanced community participation. But what is the issue? Onset of saturation in South Indian states. Almost everywhere self-help groups is there. slow progress in self-help group formation in the North Indian states, adoption of better reporting standards by banks such as counting only operative accounts. But one big problem was been there, I will tell you. SKS is one of the notorious microfinance institution in Andhra Pradesh. This is a case study. The company name is called as SKS. SKS Microfinance Institution. They give loans without guarantee. Means they won't ask the guarantee of the members also. But they charge very high interest rate, exorbitant interest rates. When they charge the exorbitant interest rate means obviously something will be there, obviously. What is that something means? They are not going to take the guarantee. Why this much of interest rate? You are not giving guarantor, no, that's why I am charging. Okay, fine. And when they are unable to pay back, this company, they took the TVs, they took the fridge, what are all the things which are present in the house, they forcefully taken away. Nearly 40 to 50 suicides happened. Already they are poor and their pride is taken away because of forcefully taking the goods in the house. This issue was been published in Time magazine also in America. Then the SKS company was been regulated by the RBI. The microfinance institutions were been stopped and strict regulations are given by RBI. What they will give, what they will do without any much documents. Only by Aadhaar card they will be giving the loans. They know the house, they know the address. The recovery team will be very strong. So they give the loan and if they are not paying the exorbitant interest rate, they will come and take away the goods. So like this 40-50, that is a negative side of microfinancing institution. It is international relations question. International relations questions in GS2. The jurisdiction of CBI regarding lodging an FIR and conducting probe within a particular state is being questioned by various states. However, the powers of states to withhold consent to the CBI is not absolute. Explain with special reference to the federal character of CBI, statutory body, which we discussed. How the cases will in CBI will take. Central government have the power to give the power to CBI to inquire into any investigation. Supreme Court have the power to give the duty of investigation to CBI, any case. High Court have the power to give any case for investigation to the CBI. Central Vigilance Commission have the power to give the case of corruption related to CBI. Fifth, state government also have the power. State government also have the power to give any case to the CBI, but it should be approved by the central government. Another thing. But when central government gives any case in the state government, any central government gives any case to the CBI in the state, it should be cross approved by state government. But sometimes the central government did not follow these rules and regulations and gave the cases to the CBI. That is the question all about. So first you will write about CBI. Big question is CBI and federalism. Why? Because CBI is called as caged parrot, speaking master's voice. Master is central government. CBI and federalism often comes into direct confrontation with state police, which causes federal issues. The weak central authority. So there are some issues. Means mainly the question is about when the central government is taking up the case, when the central government is taking up the case which belongs to the state police and giving it to the CBI, it should be approved by the state government. But sometimes the central government is taking up the case without the approval of the state government. It is affecting the federal house. Recently, one of the murder of an RSS activist in Kerala, the case was been given to CBI by the central government, but the state government did not give any approval. But still the CBI has been inquiring into the case of which is under the ambit of Kerala. Why? Kerala is a communist government and central government is a BJP government. And one more thing, in Kerala, most often the RSS activists are being targeted. That is for true. So when these RSS activists were being killed, this central government ordered CBI inquiry without the permission of. So state government is telling that it is blatant violation of federalism. See, however, the power of states to withhold consent to the CBI is not absolute. So when the central government give the power to the CBI, the state government cannot stop it. Hence the CBI will be doing its investigation. Though the Human Rights Commission have contributed immensely to the protection of human rights in India, yet they have failed to assert themselves against mighty and powerful. Analyzing their structural and practical limitations suggests remedial measures. See, first, the question is about Human Rights Commission, means National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission came into existence in 1993 under the act called as National Human Rights Act of 1992. It's a quasi-judicial statutory body. It's a quasi-judicial statutory body. The chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission is former CJ of India, and he will be in the post till 70 years or till 5 years, whichever is first. This content you will give. Why? Because 15 marks. Now you will write about the powers of NHRC. What are the powers of NHRC? The human rights which are present in the constitutions, like fundamental rights, secular principles, democratic principles, and what are all the human rights which are present in international covenants need to be protected by NHRC. Not only this, prisons, the welfare of the prisoners in the prisons, bonded labor. What are all the issues which comes under the human rights? Like, if you see here, prison inmates, patients at mental health asylums, bonded laborers, people with disabilities, women and children, and economically and socially marginalized sections of the country, these special cases also will be taken by NHRC. Good. Question is, yet they have failed to assert themselves against the mighty and powerful. Why? Because they are powerless. For example, I told you this word, they are toothless. The recommendation given by the NHRC is advisory. It is not binding. Number 2, NHRC doesn't have its own force. NHRC doesn't have its own force. Number 3, most often the National Human Rights Commission is not taken seriously. The recommendations or the advices or the solutions or the judgments which are given by the NHRC is kept aside by the ruling government. These are the points. Toothless tiger, few resources to address them, non-binding on the government, limited jurisdiction into human rights violation by armed forces. They don't have power on armed forces and private parties. Inability to initiate cases beyond 1 year. If any case happened, 1 year completed. For example, today is 24th Jan 2022. A case happened on January 23rd, 2021. NHRC have the power to take? NHRC doesn't have the power, but Supreme Court or High Courts have. But NHRC within 1 year. They don't have power on armed forces. They don't have power on corporates also. Private parties means corporates. They don't have power on corporates. So they are limited. So you gave a very big name called as National Human Rights Commission for the protection of human rights in India, but you made, so remedial measures, more power, decision should be enforceable by the government, armed forces should come under it, commission's membership should be broad based, amending laws and more power should be given to law should be amended, independent staff should be there, means they themselves should appoint their own staff. Why? Because the government will be appointing and keeping under the NHRC. So they will be automatically working for government. But whereas in Supreme Court, the Supreme Court staff is appointed by whom? Supreme Court. So the staff also works for Supreme Court. Analyzing the distinguishing features of notion of equality in the Constitution of USA and I told you, no? Comparison of constitutional provisions. Comparison of constitutional provisions of India and USA. India and USA, both are melting pots of the world. Why? Both are called as melting pots of the world. Why? Very good. Diverse culture. All the cultures, all the people will come and melt into India. All the cultures, all the people will come and melt into India, into USA. Both are diverse, both are pluralistic, both are unity in diversity, both are heterogeneous. That is the commonality between the India and USA. Both are democratic form of government, but one is parliamentary form, other is presidential form. Then question is about right to equality. Right to equality. Here through Bill of Rights, here through fundamental rights, here equal protection of law, equal treatment under equal circumstances only. Equal protection of law means equal treatment only under equal treatment only under equal circumstances. Means when you are also from English medium, when you are also from very good family background, when you are also from very good educational background and rich socially and economically, and other person is also socially and economically good, then I will see you both equally. But one person is from vernacular language, one person is from socially and economically backward, but still if I see both of them, it is called as injustice. Why? Because both are unequal. Both are unequal. So, equal treatment when they are in equal circumstances, but not like that here. It is just procedure here, just rule of law. Rule is telling that both are same, that's it, both are competing for the exam. Whoever is passed, he will be getting the rank. Equality before the law. An American model is equal protection of the law. Equality before law, which is also called as rule of law. Equality before. Everyone is equal before the law. But here, equal protection of law. Equal protection of law means equal treatment when there is equal circumstances. Civil and equal legality only. But both civil, legal as well as socio-economic inequality. You know, India's right to equality is more broad-based. India's right to equality is more broad-based when compared to America's right to equality. In American Constitution, racism was not banned, but Indian Constitution, untouchability is banned. In Indian Constitution, equality is present in the original Constitution. Here, equality came into existence by amendments. So, that is the difference between the right to equality with respect to America and. So, when you are preparing, you have to prepare India comparing with USA, UK, France. These three are enough. You should not compare with China, you should not compare with Russia also. Why? Because those are not equal countries with respect to people's liberty. There the people's liberty is not there in Russia, the people's liberty is not there in China. So, we are not going to compare with those countries. Comparison is unequal. Why? Because India is very supreme with respect to people's liberty. When compared to China, when compared to Russia, India is skyrocketing. So, we have to compare with USA and UK and France. That also you should understand. So, oh sir, so I have to compare means whether I have to compare all countries? No. Comparison also we should know which countries we have to. Explain the constitutional provisions under which legislative councils are established. Some articles are important. If you write this, oh, this person is well-read person. Again, if you write this, again what you do? Some articles you fix in your mind. Some articles and some judgments fix in your mind. For example, legislative council means 169, 171. Ordinance 123-213. Supreme Court advisory to the central government 143. And for center-state relations, this judgment. For ordinance, this judgment. For presidential, this judgment. For emergency provision, this judgment. Compulsory you have to remember this. Center-state relation, Bombaya case. Governor rule also Bombaya case. Ordinance, don't worry, I will give one chart. At the end of the session, I will give you which articles you have to remember for every topic and which judgments. Under 169 and 171, there will be a legislative councils. Utility, what is the functions of state legislative councils? What are the negatives of legislative councils? What are the negatives of legislative councils? Do department, very, very important. To do department related parliamentary standing committees keep the administration on its toe and inspire reference for parliamentary control. Departmental standing committees, there will be 30 members in every departmental related standing committee. 20 members will be Lok Sabha, 10 members will be from Rajya Sabha. For every ministry and for every department. For example, for some departments like Department of Atomic Energy will not come under any ministry, it will be directly under Prime Minister office. So those departments also will be having parliamentary committees or departmental standing committees, and ministries also will be having departmental standing committees. So any bill which is placed in the parliament will go to the departmental standing committees. These experts will be reading it, they will be doing research on it, and they will be recommending it to the parliament. So in that way, the more scrutiny will be happening with respect to the bills, policies, schemes, budget of the government. So departmental standing committees is an extra scrutiny which is provided for the executive power. So executive power is more scrutinized by this departmental standing committees. Expected question. Every year expected question. 31 members, 21 members from Lok Sabha, 1 will be the chairman and 10 will be from the Rajya Sabha. Functions of departmental standing: examining bills, annual reports, significance, long-term plans, easier to examine a topic in depth by committee of 30 than by an assembly of 700. A 30-member body, they can scrutinize more when compared to 700 people. A combination of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. They enable inputs from experts, issues and challenges. What is a big issue means? The speaker is not giving to the departmental standing committee. If they give, then it will go for scrutiny. Directly they will put in the parliament and voting will happen and the bill will pass. The reference to the departmental standing committees is reducing. When the reference to the departmental standing committee is reducing means obviously the scrutiny is reduced. These are the issues and concerns. As digital literacy, particularly in rural areas, coupled with lack of information and communication technologies, mainly in COVID times, expected question are not digital literacy. COVID, schools closed, you are taking class in Zoom, you are taking class in online medium, but they don't have mobile phone, they don't have internet. If they have mobile phone, if they have internet, they don't know how to use it. Digital literacy is very important. Digital infrastructure is important. So first the government should focus on providing digital infrastructure, then digital literacy, then we can go using of information communication technology. What is digital literacy? Issues of internet connectivity. Digital literacy as a factor hindering socio-economic development. Why? Because acts as an impediment to access to telemedicine, prevents rural youth from capitalizing on myriad of employment like e-commerce. Digital illiteracy prevents effective e-governance measure. Digital literacy, especially among women and girl child, has increased the gender imbalance in the rural areas. So we need to promote digital literacy. So gender equality, gender literacy, now it is equated with digital literacy. Gender equality and gender literacy is equated with, now you can draw a diagram, gender equality, gender literacy, gender empowerment now can be possible by one mechanism which is called as digital literacy. Why? Because the women are backward in this digital literacy. So women in post-independent India have excelled in various fields. The social attitude, patriarchal nature, the social attitude towards women and feminist movements has been patriarchal. Apart from women education and women empowerment schemes, what interventions can help change this milieu, this gap? Manifestation of patriarchy, son meta preference, wage differentials and high unpaid work done by women, property inheritance differences. Here you are right. Thanks to Supreme Court recent judgment 2 days back. stereotypes and biases legitimized by religion, emancipation movements led by men, interventions needed, addressing objectification and commodification of women in India, improving safety at workplace, Delhi pink tickets in metro buses, buses for women free of cost, implement Vishaka guidelines, inclusive and women-friendly workplaces with sensitization of co-workers, bracket you have to write. Sexual harassment at workplace need to be, Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act 2013 need to be implemented very strictly. Address unpaid care work using legislative or policy changes. Unpaid care work, house, wife, sister, mother, unpaid care work need to be addressed now. This is a recommendation given by Law Commission of India. Political representation improvement at different levels, value neutral employment roles, normalizing men cooking, life skill, long-term changes, socialization changes at school level, children, civil society, NGOs awareness campaigns, continuous efforts with a holistic outcome needed to achieve self-sustainable development goals by 2030. If you notice, for this health, gender equality, I am using sustainable development goals. Why? Because earlier it was Millennium Development Goals, now it is Sustainable Development Goals. When you are giving conclusion, try to add to Sustainable Development Goals. When these are provided, then only we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And the last question. Can civil society and NGO present an alternative model of civil service delivery to benefit the common citizen? First tell what is civil service delivery. Decentralized grassroots level delivery, based on people's demand, right-based approach, people's participation at all levels, accountability in hands of people, grassroots level presence to understand the problems like NGO search, tribal health assembly, trust among due to their service orientation, Akshay Patra, social auditing, challenges, lack of transparency, conflict of interest. So how it can be more effectively functioned? This is international relations question on SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and AUKUS, Australia, UK and US. So what is the lessons learned? So what you want to tell, sir, from this? Finally, now you got up from the sleep. So finally what you want to tell? Final conclusion is what? Means GS2 is scoring because of lack of proper understanding in the first attempt and second attempt. They will not put that much of energy on GS2. The seniors will keep. Third attempt mains. Third time mains goers, fourth time mains goers, they will put energy, they will write all the side headings. You have to remember the side headings. Oh. NGOs means this, examples of NGOs this, these are the advantages of NGOs, these are the negatives of NGOs, any case study. Finish, done. Self-help groups, what are self-help groups, positives, negatives, any committee recommendations, how self-help groups are linked to microfinance institutions. Pressure groups, what are pressure groups, examples of pressure groups, positives and negatives of pressure groups. Now what you have to do, till we complete this governance module, after the class you try to make your own notes, not detailed notes, bullet points. If you write detailed notes also no problem, but try to make a bullet points at least through your hands, so that it will be more useful, you can remember it and you can recollect it. Any doubt? Why I discussed 2021 question paper and syllabus? Because you should know, you have to know importance of the subject, importance of the course before entering into it. I know students, lot of students who crossed 100 marks in GS1, but GS2, GS3 is very less. Why? Because they didn't focus on disaster management, internal security and economics also, science and technology also. You have to focus on GS3 also. GS3 also you have to focus. Why? Because GS3 is more dynamic. GS3 is dynamic. Why students will score more marks in GS1? Most often 100 we will cross. Why? Because we will read the same in polity. Geography we will read, history we will read, art and culture we will read, Indian society we have to emphasize on newspaper. Most neglected will be ethics, governance and dynamics of economics, not economics, dynamics of economics.